All right, so I want to do just a quick video on what to look at when you're doing your seamless summer option renewal. There are lots of different types of site eligibility and ways to document that, and we do have some links on the regular summer program on our public website under documenting site eligibility, and there's another little video that'll go into kind of all the different types and ways to do that. I think for this video, just to keep it brief and short, I'm just going to focus on the most common, and that is documenting open site eligibility or closed enrolled site eligibility using October survey information and census information. And then if you have any other situations or would like help qualifying sites that are different than those, just give me a call and we will work with you through those. And so for this example, I wanted to choose Bookcliff Elementary in Emory School District. It's a seamless summer site at the school. And so when you go into CNPweb, you're going to go to your applications tab. You want to make sure you click on revise. If you go into view, it'll let you make changes, but then you'll lose them all and there won't be a submit at the bottom. So you want to go into revise, and then maybe a good idea is just scroll all the way down and then look and see, do you have that submit button? Then you know you're making actual changes, because that always gets me. So for the most part, you don't really need to change any of this information at the top. It may be a good time just to kind of look over it and make sure that it's accurate. But really what we want to do is scroll down to the seamless summer section starting on line 89. So you want to make sure that it's selected as participating. It should already be that way if the site operated last year. And then you'll check the month served. Now this is a tricky area for the seamless summer option, because right now we're in program year 18, which ends on June 30th. And so this July and August is actually referring to the last July and August. And so if you're, say, want to operate a week in May this year, then you'll select May and June. But in this site didn't operate in August last year, but say they want to this year, you wouldn't select August here. What you would do is you would wait until we open up program year 19 and you're doing your renewals for the upcoming school year, and then you would check the July and August in program year 19, and that's when we would approve that. So then you'll move on to line 91 and just select, you can select all that apply. For example, you could have a park site that's being served by a mobile truck on a reservation, for example. Then you would check like park, mobile, and tribal. So just check all that apply. If you don't see your site type there, it's community center or something else, you can check other and then type that in there. And then your type of open site, you'll select from open, open restricted, closed enrolled, migrant, or camp. So again, for the sake of this, I think I'll focus mostly on just open and closed enrolled, is the vast majority of sites operating in our state are those. So you'll come down and look at your area eligibility type. And so most people are using this most recent October survey school data to qualify their sites. And this is a good example of that. So now this percentage is going to have rolled over from the prior year. And so you're going to want to update this percentage to this most recent October survey. The school number, so in this case, Bookcliff Elementary, the school does qualify, and so it's just going to use its own school information. And so you would just type in the site information for that. So you can see the whole sponsor number and site information should be entered in here. So that's 09-124. It should be 2 digits, a dash, and then 3 digits. If you forget what that is, you can scroll at the very top of the form. Oops, very top. And then it's right here. You can see it here right underneath the name there, right there. So if you forget to enter in the 2 digits, the 09, what it'll do is it's going to pull that information. Either won't find the site, or Davis School District is the only sponsor in the state that doesn't have this identifier. So all of their sites are just the 3-digit. And so, for example, if Emory forgets and just types in 124, it'll go look and see if Davis School District has a school that's 124, then it'll pull in its information, and you don't want it to do that. All right, now if this site was using, say Bookcliff Elementary did not qualify, this most recent October survey is only 49%, but say Bookcliff Elementary is in the enrollment boundaries of a qualifying school, such as like the high school, for example. What you would do is you would type in the high school's information here, and then the high school name, and then school district, and then type in the high school's October survey information. And then what I would need to, in order to approve that, I would need to know that Bookcliff Elementary is located in the enrollment boundaries of that high school. And so what I've attached to this email as well is the site eligibility form. You can use your own form, but if you want to use this one, it works pretty slick because it gives you all the same information that you'll need to fill out in CNPweb. And so you go through and you just fill out this basic information about your site. Then your eligibility type would be like school data or area eligibility. And then you'll go down and fill in, like I said, that same information. And then you would put the map that shows the boundaries, the Bookcliff Elementary's and the high school boundaries here. If your school district doesn't have boundary maps, then you can send me an email from the school district that basically confirms that that site is located in that boundary. And I can keep that on file. And then you'll want to keep a copy of this site eligibility form for your records on file as well. All right, so let's say that it doesn't qualify based on school data, but it does qualify based on census data. All you'd have to do is just check the census button, and when you submit it, it'll delete out all of this, but you'll check the census, and then you can basically use the same kind of a form to fill that out, and then you can put your census map in here. So a good place to go to get census maps would be on the USDA Capacity Builder. You can see it on another tab up here. And this is the URL to it. It's right there. And so what you can do to get a census map is you can type in your city and state, or you can type in the full address, and it'll take you right to your site in the search box here. And then in the layers area, if you want to type the summer meal sites 2017, that's a really handy one to have. And then if your school's been around for a while, since 2008, you can check that and you can see it'll put them on here. If not, you can just kind of type the address in, and then you'll scroll down on the layers and check SY2018 FNS CACP SFSP eligibility, and it will then shade the map this blue and kind of pink color. And so you can see that pink, anything in pink qualifies, anything in blue does not. So it's a good way to kind of check eligibility using regular census. Now sometimes there'll be an area that's kind of blue here, but it's surrounded by these pink areas. So that might be an indication that, hey, this might qualify using census averaging. And if you want help looking into that, just contact me and I'm happy to help you kind of figure that out. But if you want to, then you can just kind of take a quick screenshot of that area. And then if you want to, you can, I use the snipping tool if you guys have that. And then you can just kind of be like, okay, my site's right here. And then copy that right over on that form that we talked about where you can insert your map. And it's okay if it's small because I can zoom in on it. So you can kind of get it on one page or whatever. You can fill this out and just put your map right in there, and that'll tell me, I can see right here that this is the site, I can see the address that you typed in, or where it's located, and it's in a pink area. And then that will suffice for documenting your census information. Sorry, just get all that cleared out. All right, like I said, there is a very similar map that's available on the internet that will do census averaging, but like I said, I can help you through those kinds of things. If you're using prior year eligibility because your site doesn't qualify based on census averaging, or any school data anymore, and you're using carryover eligibility, what you'll do is you'll check this special eligibility certification box and then type in, using carryover eligibility from 4/5/2017 or something. And we'll get that approved based on old year eligibility. Okay, but if not, you'll just leave it as school data, and you can see if your site's been previously approved. You can see when I show that the site expires and when we last established eligibility. It's a good idea to keep bumping that out every 5 years. Okay, then if you're, like I said, if you're doing any of the other site types, you'll go in and answer these questions. And make sure you put in good full answers, or I'll call you and ask you to round out the answers and give better feedback to me on these answers. So program start date, even though up above we kind of talked about just checking these certain months, down here on line 98 on the program start and program end date, we actually want you to do the full range of your operation. So if it's from May to August, you'll put May all the way to August, and that's okay here. And that'll be nice because it'll roll over when you do your 2019 information. And if you have year-round school, you'd indicate that here, and then indicate your tracks. And then on the first public release date, a lot of people forget to update this date, and they leave it as the prior year. So this is the date you plan on releasing your first media release. So it's okay if that's a future date from now. And then whether or not you're doing a la carte, and if it's milk only, and then select your meal type, and then make sure that you're checking if you want to do offer versus serve, because that's how we approve that for you. And then if you have multiple points of service, we want to know that, so we know how many reviewers to bring when we come out, and then put in your meal times. Now make sure you're not too restrictive on your meal times. Give yourself plenty of time to serve the meal. It's okay if you actually start serving at, say, 11:45 and end at 12:45, but you open these up a little bit to kind of give you some cushion on either side. That's okay. We can go ahead and approve that. You'll just want to let me know that you're doing that. Then the days of the week that you're doing. And then this is the one that really trips people up, is this site cap. So the site cap is basically the maximum number that you anticipate serving, that you have the ability to serve at the site. So you might want to look at historical data for the site if it's already been in operation, and look at what your highest day was last summer, and do you anticipate doing more or less, like what is your max, and you want to put that in here. You don't want that to be way overblown. It should be pretty close to what your highest day has been. But at the same time, you want to update that if you need to during the summer, because if this site was to serve 305 kids, those 5 meals in excess of the cap would not be reimbursable. So that being said, your average daily attendance shouldn't be probably the same as this, unless you max out your site every day and don't plan on ever claiming a meal beyond that. So make sure there's a good relationship between those two. Average daily attendance should be based on last year information. If you need to look at that, you can look at your claim information in CNPweb and figure out what your average daily attendance was over the summer. Then you'll check as many boxes as applies in the locations where you're advertising a meal service, and then as well as the different various types of advertisement that you're using to let folks know about your service. And then if you plan on doing any events, you'd want to put that in here, and then describe maybe the events. If you're doing a kickoff event, a spike event, if you're just doing some reading days or some picnic days or anything fun, we'd love to know about those. And then on line 114, if you have any other organizations that are going to be operating the site for you, we need to know about that, and you'll need to indicate those here. On line 115, you'll check here if the sponsor is requesting a single age grade group. So most sites do this because it would be hard especially an open site, to change portion sizes as the kids come through the line. So they want to kind of pick an age grade group and meal plan around that. If you plan on doing that, then you'll check that box, and then you'll need to provide a justification as to why you're asking for that waiver. We've kind of given you one here because that's the one that that is kind of makes the most sense for the most people. And so if that's your explanation, you just check that box, and you don't need anything. You don't need to type in same as above. You can just check that box and you're good to go. Now, if you have a different justification, you would leave that box unchecked, and you can type your reasons in on line 117. And then on line 118, we need to know what age grade grouping you've selected, and how was it that you determined that that would be the most appropriate age grade group for the kids. And so generally speaking, it's kind of what is listed here. Based on previous history, the majority of kids that are participating are in that age grade group, and so that's why we selected, K through 8 in this case. So you just make sure you fill that out and put in a good explanation there for me. And that's kind of the end of the actual Seamless Summer section. You don't really have to update the food safety inspection. You want to make sure that it's accurate. So if since you filled this out, you've gotten more inspections, please let us know that, and you can update that there. But if it's still just one, that's fine. And then you can go through kind of your account. You don't really have to change this accountability procedure section if you don't want to. If you're doing a non-school site, that's a little bit more tricky, and I have a different video on how to basically go through and approve non-school sites. So then you just go all the way to the bottom and hit submit, you want to check the box if you're all done with it to let me know that it's ready for approval. So it's easy to miss, and that'll move it from pending submission to pending approval. And then you'll submit that, and then you can let me know once all of your sites are done and you're ready for me to get in and approve those. If you just shoot me an email, that would be great to let me know that those are all ready to go. As you can see here, this is where on lines 133 and 134, you won't see this. This is where I put in your eligibility expiration, and that is what will then display up above right here for you. So if you see that you want to renew your eligibility but it hasn't been renewed, that's where you can double check to see if I've renewed it for your 5-year when I've approved it. Okay, so good luck doing that. Please call me with any questions. Thanks so much.